Welcome, everybody, to another session of the Library of Things collab. We're so happy to have you here. And we are fortunate to have Leanna Frick joining us to talk about operations, all of that nitty gritty back end stuff that's necessary to be on top of to run a successful Library of Things. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to you.
Cool. Thanks, Tom. I'm just going to jump right in because we have a lot to cover. I know Tom said all the nitty-gritty backend stuff, but there's no possible way we could cover that all in an hour. So I'm going to cover the things that have been the biggest headaches for me and hopefully share a little bit of what I've learned the hard way. So we're going to talk about starting with values and mission and how they can affect operational decisions. I'm talking about my library is in Baltimore, Maryland. We are just about 11 years old. We'll be 11 years old next month. We have four full-time staff, and we have actually always had about four full-time staff since we opened, which is very unusual. But we also have 79 regular volunteers who work with us at least 6 hours a month, every month. We offer 36 classes. We have 39 instructors. We offer about 4,000 lendable tools, and we have about 1,700 members. So just a little bit of background for where my knowledge comes from. Before we get into what can seem like a really technical, sort of unartful aspect of our business, I think it's always really important to think about our values and mission. Who are we? So this is an example of how some of the mission vision statements can affect the decisions that you make in terms of operations. So this is our mission statement from Station North Tool Library and some excerpts from our values document. And so we actually had these things in place long before we had an insurance policy and things like that. It's a great place to start, right? Thinking about who you are as a group and what you're trying to do in the world can really affect the shape that you take, the ways that you invest, all kinds of different things. So one of the most important things in our mission that I pulled out is all people, right? So our mission is to serve everybody, which changes a lot of the ways that we spend money, for example. And in some of our values, we find directions, some of the groundwork of the directions that we've gone as an organization. We believe in building a better economy, right? We are pretty explicitly anti-capitalist at the Station North Tool Library. We ground in trust, equity, and generosity. We believe in consensus making decision making, and we believe that governance bodies should reflect the identities and lived experiences of people whose decisions they impact. So we take the organizing motto, nothing about us without us, from disability rights organizers there. I really want to challenge you. I'm going to give you a couple of reflection questions. We're not going to have a ton of time for discussion, but I hope you'll go back to your team, whether that's your staff, your fellow board members, volunteers, people in your neighborhood, whoever you are organizing with, and it does take multiple people to start and sustain a library of things. Go back and really reflect on these questions with your team, and hopefully they will help you to make some of these decisions. So consider what philosophies or agreements you have in place that can help shape your functional decisions. You might even think, what's the decision-making process we're going to use? Is one person deciding? Are we voting? Are we going to use consensus? And those are all things that when you discuss them on the front end, it really saves time and heartache as you go through some of these operational decisions that can get pretty weighty and can lead to conflict.